In this video, I'm going to show you how to measure a pair of pants. You will need measuring tape, a pencil or something to write on, and straight pins. Then you're going to go to your nest under spec sheet. You're going to find spec sheet pants, how to measure. It will look something like this. I'm going to use this to show you the steps. On the spec sheet, there are lists of points of measures. We also short form it as POM. The first item is waist TC. TC stands for total circumference. So as you lay down a pair of pants, most likely it will look like this. The front is lower than the back. In order for you to get waist total circumference, first you're going to bring the front up to at the same level as the back. Okay? And then you're going to go to your measuring tape. Now, remember, you always want your garment to be flat and relaxed. Okay? You never want to stretch anything when you measure. However, your measuring tape needs to be tight and taut. Okay? So, for the waist, you want to go to the middle of your waistband, and then you're going to walk it, and then you're going to see the other side. So in this case, I have 17.25. Now, TC means total circumference. That means I'm going to take 17.25 and double it. So that will be my waist total circumference. All right, so you want to write that down and then move on to point 2. Point 2 is high hip, 4 inches from waist edge, total circumference, TC. Now, after you finish with the waist, you want to relax your pants again by bringing that down. So your pants front here is flat. All right, so it says 4 inches down from waist edge, meaning you do not want to include your waistband, so it's always at the seam. Okay, so it's at 4 inches down. So what you want to do is take your measuring tape to the side, not the side seam, but to the edge of the pant. Most of the time your side seam is going to be forward. So, but on here, you want to measure from here down 4 inches, and then you want to put a pin to mark it. Okay, and then you're going to go to the other side, do the same, 4 inches, and you put a pin. Now you're going to measure all the way across. Okay, so again, you see my pants is flat and not stretched. I'm just going to lay my tape taut, and I'm going to measure across. So right here I get 19. Again, it's total circumference, meaning I need to double it. All right, so now you're done with number 2. Now moving on to number 3, regular hip at bottom of J stitch. So if you look at the fly, this is what we call a J stitch. So the bottom is right here. So that means you want to go like this. Now I will double check here and measure from here to here. Make sure the left side and the right side is the same. You want to measure the same point. So I have almost 8 here and also have almost 8 here. So let me put a pin here and also put a pin here. So I'm getting the right measurement. Now, if I want to double check one more time, make sure when I lay across, I'm at the bottom of the J stitch, which is, so right here I get 20.25. Now, again, we want total circumference. That means I need to double this. All right, so that's it for point 3. We're going to move on to 4, the thigh, which it says 1 inch below the crotch seam, total circumference. All right, so now you want to open up your pants, smooth it out, and you want to measure, this is the crotch seam, right? And you want to, on the inseam, you want to measure 1 inch down. And then you're going to put a pin. And then while this is flat, trying to smooth out any possible wrinkle, you're going to go across. Okay? So I have 12.25. Again, this is called TC, total circumference. That means I have to double it. Next, I'm going to measure front rise. And for this, I would like to turn my pan sideways. And this is called the front rise. Starting from the bottom of the waistband, measure all the way down to the crotch. Now, there are 2 ways of doing it, which will get you fairly similar results. I personally like to try to lay this flat, exposing the curve, natural curve. So, and then put your tape on the side way, and then walk it along the edge. So if I do this, again, I have to walk it slowly, and then I get about 8.5 inches. All right, so that will be my front rise. So number 6 is back rise. So in order to do this, I'll do the same, except I won't be able to do that unless I open up my fly and then flip my pants over. Now I'm able to expose my back rise. Okay, again, I try to lay it down so this is totally relaxed. I try to keep much of a natural curve here. Kind of think about as you're laying on paper. All right, so you can't really stretch your paper. So let's do it this way. Again, I'm measuring on the side of the tape. I like to go from the bottom at the crotch and walk slowly and along this center back seam. Okay, and then all the way to the bottom of the waistband. All right, you don't want to include the waistband. So, all right, so now you have number 6, your back rise. Number 7 is called inseam. What is an inseam? So let me see if I get you in the frame. So this is called the inseam. Okay, literally the inside of the pant, the seam. Okay, and that will be the out seam. This is the inseam. All right, so for this, again, you have a curve. So you have to walk it. All right, because it's not such a big curve as curve, I can lay my tape and measure, trying to get as straight as a point, and then you can pivot your tape and continue to walk along the inseam to get the measurement. Okay, you go all the way to the bottom of the hem. Okay, sometimes you have a cuff, you will still go over the cuff to the bottom of the hem. That is this will be the end of the inseam, no matter what kind of treatment you have or design detail on the pants. All right, so for this I have 28.75. All right, so that's number 7. Number 8, out seam. Again, start from the bottom of the band. Now, it's exactly the same thing except on the outside pant. So we're gonna begin, again, lay this flat, don't stretch it, and then starting from the bottom of the band. This time you're not on the edge, this time you're on the seam because it asks for out seam. Again, I'm gonna walk it, this is pretty straight, so I can go further if I wanted to, and then there I got my out seam, starting from bottom of the band. Now, number 9, it's out seam from top of the band. So you can do the same, measure from here this time, all the way, and you will get that. Or the other way is to measure your waistband and add it onto number 8. You will get the same measurement. All right, number 10, bottom opening, we call it sweep. Again, we want total measurement. So this is the bottom opening. So lay it flat, make sure all the seam, even the thick seam, is laying flat. You measure it. Now this also called for TC, meaning total measurement. That means bottom opening is, let's say here 7, total measurement, you want to double it. So that would become your total measurement. All right? Number 11, waistband height. Waistband height, that's the waistband height. All right? And number 12, zipper height. So you will look for, you will measure the length of the zipper. You go in, find the end of this should be a zipper stopper, like a metal thing for the zipper so it doesn't go past. So you measure from that. You can do close, you can do open, it won't make a difference. You can measure here and then to the top of the zipper, where the stopper is. Okay? So, and number 13 is bottom hem finish. So you go back to the hem. Bottom hem finish really is the hem, really, how wide the stitches are. So in here, because I have top stitching here, it's easy for me to see. So here's 1 inch. For some pants that don't have a stitch, they might have like a blind stitch on it, or then you will measure up until the hem. And for some pants that have maybe frayed edges, then you won't have this item. So we would just ignore this. You can write not applicable N/A. All right? Number 14 is knee, which says 14 inches below crotch point. So this is what you want to do. You want to lay your pants flat again, and then you're going to measure from the crotch on the along the inseam 14 inches. And then you want to put a pin to mark it. And then you're going to put your tape across from this point evenly. Find this perpendicular to the side seam, so it's straight across. Again, this is calling for TC, so it will be 18 inches for me, and I have to double it. So this is how you measure a pair of pants according to a spec sheet.